and two of the classes that I teach is through TEALS. And TEALS is a program that's sponsored by Microsoft, and they connect you with volunteers that are willing to call into the classroom every day and actually do one-on-one discussions with your students on their own computers. They can run classroom discussions. They're really awesome people because they're just donating this time most of the time. The first class that TEALS offers is an introduction to computer science, and this class can be run as either a half credit or a full credit. And the curriculum for this course follows the UC Berkeley Joy of Code curriculum for the intro-level computer science course for non-majors of the computer science department. And it's really more about playing around with code to start off with. They get to make their own games, they get to do some things where we're just basically exploring computer science. In this course, students are expected to learn the basics of writing programs using Snap, which is basically just the building blocks. They have the blocks already available, and the students go and they pick the block and they put it over here, and they pick another block and they attach them. And eventually they get enough blocks so that when they click play, the little figure over on the side does something. Some of the games that the students built this year, I had one student build a Frogger game. I had another student build, this is Frogger. It's a lot of code, and all of that code had to go with all three of the frogs. And then the snails had more code inside of them, so that they had to run across the screen and run over the frogs.
The screen, that camera's not picking up anything, any work.
And the students worked on this. This took them about 2 weeks, and it had 3 levels in it. And once they got to the end of the screen, the frog would go back to the beginning, and they'd start the second level. The students had a lot of fun with it, but they got very, very frustrated. This year in intro, students are also learning the Ruby programming language. They decided about in December that they wanted to learn a real programming language. So we decided to use Ruby because it's not quite as syntax heavy as Java and Python and some of the other programming languages. For Ruby, we decided to use the Atom text editor. It's one of the easiest text editors to use because it will pick up, if you tell it that it's a Ruby file, it will pick up the Ruby syntax and automatically do it for you. So you don't have to teach the students all of that. And AP Computer Science is the second course that's offered through TEALS. And in this course, students are expected to learn the basics of the Java programming language, which is a lot more syntax heavy. It does take a lot more time to write a program in Java. I have 2 students this year in AP Java, but I have 5 students that are doing independent studies for AP Java. They just couldn't work it in their schedule to take it during that class period. The independent study students meet online with our volunteer once a week because it's outside of regular class period. Through TEALS, the partnership, you are connected with 2 volunteers for each computer science class that you teach. I have 2 volunteers that teach intro, and I had 2 volunteers that helped teach AP, but one of them got married and moved to California in December, so he's not been back on since then. They call the class each day through Link. These sessions can hold full class discussions. They can also give demonstrations and work one-on-one with students. We decided to use Canvas Instructure as the LMS for the TEALS classes because it's very simple to just add instructors to the courses. They don't have to have their own separate login. And the students, it's fairly simple. You tell them to click on the assignment and click submit, and it's done. And the students kind of like it because I can put their comments and their grade right there, and it's very simple to access. It's also really easy to embed CS resources like GitHub, which is a very important resource for computer science. So the IDEs used in intro are Snap and Atom. Those are the 2 programs that we use. And for AP, we use Eclipse this year, although we probably won't be using Eclipse next year. IDEs are basically just what you use to program. And some IDEs are more friendly than others. Eclipse is not so user-friendly for students that are first starting out. TEALS holds an App Day celebration every year for the students in the program. These celebrations are held in New York and Seattle. And during the day, students are given the opportunity to talk with professionals that actually work in the computer science field. This year, we had students that got to meet the creator of Google Chrome. They also got to meet the creator of Super Meat Boy, which was a video game that all the boys really love at this point in time. So they were super excited about that. They also get to talk to, they got to talk to UC Berkeley representatives and a lot of representatives from different universities. In my other computer science class, we have been using Snap and Google App Inventor. This is an app that one of my students created for an Android device. It's a soundboard. And he didn't do like where it actually makes words. When you tap on the buttons, one of them is a foghorn. One of them is a loud, piercing scream that makes me jump every time I play it. The next topic that we cover in the third computer science class is Python. And the students at this point in time don't like Python because Python, if you're one space off in your program, it won't run. And so students are not used to having to be that meticulous when they're typing. So they're having a lot of issues right now. But this is just the second week, so I'm hoping that further on we'll be okay. Eventually, they will write a program that they will put in a folder of pictures, and at the end of the program, after it's run, it will put a border around all of the pictures. The next topic that we'll cover is HTML, which is basically just a web interface that they'll use to write their own web pages, and they will host these pages on their own individual GitHub accounts. GitHub is a resource that a lot of tech companies like Google and Facebook use as the portfolio that the company expects their interns to have. So they're expected to have a GitHub account. The projects that students are working on, I have students that are working on multiple level games in Java. I have another student that is trying to build a battleship game in Python, although at the moment when you click on it, click on this square and this square turns red. So the math is a little off on his grid. And then I have another student who's doing a complete web page for the Duke Blue Devils. I told her that if she had any needs for assistance, that would be all web-based, and she did not ask me questions. And then I have a video that shows some of the other things that we have done. I think in West Liberty they started the TILS program this school year currently. I don't know of any others in our region that are doing TUs. And I don't know of any others that have other computer science classes.
Like if you're middle schooling and elementary, or you
If you want to start TUs, you can either contact Nathaniel Grainer or Kevin Wayne, and I can give you both of their email addresses through Microsoft. Nathaniel Grainer is the regional director of TUs for this area, so he would be the probably starting contact for anyone that's wanting to start this program.
There's an annual application program that's each February.
is there a middle school, like an elementary and middle school lead up eventually?
We are hoping this year to start maybe an 8th grade class that will just run like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And I would rotate out different 8th grade students. Yeah.
They like that.
As a matter of fact, there is a training May the 8th at the K-Bay building in Hazard for code programming for 5th grade students.
Oh, good. Okay.
Thanks, Rob. And if we got something to say, ARI, email Mr. Carroll sent it to